is the hype around the FF Turbo Squared. So in the Sonic Blast, it definitely does not work. In this shoe, first initial run done and dusted in this shoe. Now this is probably the most hyped shoe of the year. This is the ASICS Megablast, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, a big shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also guys, if you want to support the channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with the specs, so this one is a neutral road running shoe, certainly in that Max Cushion Super Trainer category. You're going to be able to pick it up in Australia for $340 or $225 in the US. Now in the weight for such a big shoe, it's really light. So my size, US 8.5, this one is coming in at 215 grams or 7.6 ounces. Now in the stack, 46 in the rear, 38 in the front, and that's going to give us a 8mm drop. And in the upper, so the material that they're using here is a engineered mesh, and the mesh itself, it's really fine, but the breathability is excellent in the shoe. Really solid heel count at the back, nice little pull tab on the rear. Haven't had to use it yet though. Surprisingly, I'm going to say a plush amount of padding around the heel collar. So very surprising considering this shoe is so light in weight. Yeah, it's good to see that they've got a nice strip backed design on the upper, but they haven't skimped out on comfort here. Really thin tongue, two little pads on top of the tongue. It's the same, pretty much the same tongue as what you're going to find in the Sonic Blast and also the Magic Speed 4. With our lacing system, no internal straps or anything like that, just standard eyelets. They're using the notched shoelaces that they use in their race series, which is good to see. No issues with these laces coming undone. Midfoot lockdown, no issues, no heel slippage at the back. In the fit, I'm going to say in the length again, it's a tiny bit long, so a smidge long, but I'm still going to recommend true to size. In the width though, I'm going to say it's probably on the normal side, but the toe box volume is a little bit low. So it can appear that the shoe feels a bit narrow, but I don't think it is actually narrow in comparison. I think it's just got to do with the low volume in the toe box, but no irritation through that toe box area at all. Build quality, ASICS, always excellent. Step in, comfort, not too bad as well. And in the outsole, so it's good to see that they are using their premium ASICS grip here. So segmented design on the bottom and a very familiar design of where they put their rubber segment. So in all the Blast series now, you're seeing this same type of pattern. So in the high wear areas at the rear, a bit of a horseshoe at the top, and in this pod in the forefoot there. The rest of it is exposed foam, a couple of little channels through the middle of the shoe just to add a little bit of bounce to the ride. So it's too early for me to tell how this shoe is going to hold up in the durability department, but if it's ASICS grip, I know the durability is going to be great, and I know the grip is going to be great in all conditions. And in the midsole, so a very simple design here, just one big, huge slab of their brand new foam, this FF Turbo Squared. So massive stack, as we've covered before. There is no plate within the shoe, but surprisingly, this shoe is super stiff. So it feels stiffer than the Sonic Blast, which has got a plate in it, but you would swear that would have some stiffening agent in it, or this foam must be just so stiff because it is really stiff. Geometry department, we've got a bit of a early stage, and I'm going to say a gentle rocker, but you can certainly feel it on the run. Takes any slappiness out of the ride, allows the legs to tick over quite nicely. And in the ride, well, the first word that comes to mind here is snappy. So a super responsive shoe. Energetic, very springy, but I'll tell you what it's not soft. So there is not a lot of sink into this shoe. The rebound or the energy return is lightning quick. So I was actually expecting something a little bit softer. So I was surprised with how firm it was, but it's certainly not as firm as what you're going to find in the Sonic Blast, which I think is too firm. So I don't think this shoe is so firm that it's not enjoyable. I think it's a good firmness where it's nice and responsive. You're not using any, or you're not wasting any energy here, because the geometry, the snappiness of the foam makes you feel quite efficient in the shoe. Now the feel of this shoe jogging around, it's probably not that exciting for me. So yeah, it's just, you've got a little bit of pop and a little bit of bounce, but the shoe really comes into its own when you start putting some pace through the shoe, start putting some putting some force through this snappy foam, and then you can feel the benefits of what everyone is hyped up and talking about, this springy and energetic ride. For me, I don't think it's overly bouncy. It's just, yeah, snappy and responsive. It's got some pop, but as I said, it's not wowing me out of the park with this huge bounce. I don't feel that. Yeah, it's more just like a lighter version or a lighter area version of their old school FF Turbo. So if anything, the feedback of the foam kind of reminds me of the Light Strike Pro that they use in the Evo SL. As I said, it feels still quite dense. It's not super soft and squishy for me, but it's more snappy and responsive and like it's clean. So that's kind of how I feel about the shoe. And also, it's not too different to, at that jogging pace, believe it or not, to the Wave Sky 9 of how that feels jogging around. So that's just my weight and the way that I run of how this shoe reacts with me. But obviously it feels totally different when you start putting the pace through the shoe. Again, what's really surprising is how nimble it feels on the foot, because it's such a big shoe, such a big stack shoe, but it's so light. So yeah, you feel like you can get up and about, you know, move around. So yeah, really nice, nimble shoe. Very stable as well, so quite a safe ride here. Likes in this shoe so far, certainly number one, the weight. I love how they can get such a big, chunky cushion shoe, so light, and still make it feel so nimble on the foot. I also really like this strip back upper, and I love the heel counter. And what I'm still figuring out is the hype around the FF Turbo Squared. So in the Sonic Blast, it definitely does not work. In this shoe, yes, I can appreciate what's going on, but I don't think it's that good. And dislikes, as always with me, if a shoe is too expensive, that's my biggest gripe, and I think that is the case here. And just wrapping up my first impressions here, well, I must say, with all the hype around this shoe, I was expecting a little bit more, because this has to be the most hyped shoe of the year. So yes, it's a nice shoe, but I'm definitely not setting my alarm at midnight trying to get the drop of this shoe because it is that good. This shoe does not run for you. And I think for me, as a lighter runner, a guy with a higher cadence, yeah, I just don't dig into this foam enough to get all the benefits out of this FF Turbo Squared. As I said, it's on the firmer side. Yes, it's responsive, snappy, springy, and the shoe is super light. So it's still a good shoe, but it's not wowing me out of the park. So I can understand for those runners out there that are heavier than me and are digging into this foam, and when you start running fast in the shoe, what you do get out of it. But for me, as I said before, the feedback is not too dissimilar for me in the foam to the Evo SL. So that firm, responsive, snappy feel, but a lot of runners out there find that shoe really soft and squishy. Wish I don't. So yeah, it's probably just as firm, I think, as the Super Blast 2. So if you find that shoe soft and squishy or bouncy, then you're probably going to find this shoe exactly the same, but with heaps more energy return. It does remind me of the Super Blast 2, but like a race version of the Super Blast. If that kind of like gives you an idea where I see fit. Predictions with the shoe, super versatile. So I think this thing will be able to handle anything that you throw at it. As I said, feels pretty good to jog in. Not super amazing because it is a little bit firm to jog in for me, but when you pick up the pace, yeah, it certainly wants to get up and going, and probably, yeah, half marathon pace, even 5K. It could probably handle that too. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Just remember, these are only my first impressions. Plenty more testing to do on this shoe. Any questions you got regarding this shoe, how it compares to anything else, hit me up in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.